Houston joins us now live in studio to talk about, well, safety in the winter. And here's why we're touching on this. What is the second most lethal thing you can do in the winter?
Shovel snow.
Now, that blew my mind. Explain.
Just in New York City and along the seaboard, the last blizzard, just in New York City alone, about 20 people died, 6 were related to heart attacks, and a multiple of that, non-fatal heart attacks. Every year, 11,000 people die or are injured, half of them in the snow from shoveling and half of it due to cardiac. We're not meant to be out in the cold. The human species started out in Africa. We're great dealing with heat, but in the snow and cold weather, we want to get inside. And so when you have a perfect storm that dumps a couple of feet in your driveway, then your body provides a perfect storm when you go out and try to get rid of it, especially if you have no reason to do it. If you're out of shape, overweight, above the age of 50, you're 4 times more likely during that time to have a heart attack. And remember, the conditions are terrible. The ambulance can have a heck of a time trying to reach it to boot. So I understand people wanting to do winter activities that carry risk, some of them considerable. Snowboarding is the most dangerous thing you can do. Skiing, ice sailing. People center their lives around it. Here in central New York, we need to do that to get through the winter.
Sure.
But I don't see what's so much fun about shoveling snow. The second you go out, the blood vessels constrict in the skin. This is the body's way of dealing with heat. They constrict so heat is maintained in the core and not pushed out through into the atmosphere. Blood pressure goes high, the heart is under great strain, and then when you start doing things like lifting heavy snow loads, it's a horrible strain, and it could turn a healthy heart into a damaged or dead heart like that.
And it's what we've done with our lifestyles. We're all in a hurry. We all have to do the most we can in the least amount of time.
Oh, yes.
So instead of the way we were taught when we were kids, you lift a little bit of snow, you don't twist your back, you do it a certain, use your knees, you don't lift with your legs. People are going to take the biggest one they can get and get it out of the way, because we've got places to go and things to do. Is it also become a little bit of our own situation, the way our society has become? Is that we've got to get to the next biggest, fastest thing?
It's a guy thing too, you know.
Yeah, I give you that.
If you get poop when you're working out in the gym or even just walking in the snow, you can turn around and go inside. But when you're looking at a driveway, you feel you got to finish it.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the shovels are not made right. Loads are too big, they're unbalanced, they're too heavy. You're dealing with poor visibility and slippery conditions. I mean, it's a setup. Forget heart attacks, bad enough, but all the bones and joints and backs that go out of whack, just from what you said, twisting. You should push the snow.
Recipe for trouble.
Asking for it. I mean, you know, if you're fit and young, do it. In fact, the listeners should pay a kid next door, their nephew, their grandchild, give them the 30 bucks. Contract for it, get a snowblower. If you're gonna do it, warm up before you do. A small shovel with an S shape, push the snow, move your whole body to dump it. It's remarkable how dangerous it can be, and I think if you're over 50, you shouldn't do it even if you're fit.
Let's talk about something, if we got a few minutes here. Let's talk about something that's in the news right now, and it's starting a small panic. We've only got about a minute left. The Zika virus. What have you read on this with about a minute to go?
There's nothing to do for it when you get it because there's no treatment for it. Vaccines are years away. Drug therapies are being tested. Our CDC just came out and said it's not a big threat in the United States because mosquitoes in the United States have a cyclical pattern that doesn't occur in the southern hemisphere where they're around all the time with a lot of stagnant water. So it's their view Zika won't be much of a big deal up here. I'm not so sure because the World Health Organization called it a pandemic, and I think a pregnant woman in the United States, in the South, this coming summer, has to keep her eye on the news because it's going to be in the southern states.
Always good to know. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Take care. We'll see you next month.